Pay attention, watch.
Remember
that?
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's play this in.
Pay attention.
Bro, shut up.
Remember what happened after that? We remember what happened after that, right? I just wanted to make sure you don't forget.
The year 2001, new head coach at Hermitage. On a 2-8 season 1 year ago, Patrick Kane had his first shot. The Hermitage Panthers in a motto, just 3 little words.
Following our new motto, play the play.
And our motto, play the play.
Play smart ball. Keep communicating the whole time.
You focus on that play, you go hard on that play, you finish that play hard. You don't worry about what happens, and you can line back up and you play the next play. So you got to play the play, follow our motto, get after it each play, and at the end of the game, we'll be proud of our performance.
Every coach has a system. You know, all systems work. Nobody's better than the other. The key is getting your players to buy into it. He brought a system to Hermitage. He believed in it, and kids bought into it. He stuck by it, and they played hard.
And, one play at a time, just play hard. The biggest thing I was concerned in 2001 was when things don't go perfect, how are we going to respond? When you've been 2-8 for 8 years, or an average of 2-8 for 8 years, you're used to things going bad at some point. So when you get that difficult spot, how are you going to handle it? And I think that motto kind of helped us get through it. Okay, they made a play, it's okay. Next play, we'll make a play.
You know, hard work trumps anything, or just about everything in life. The harder you work, the better off you are, and the luckier you get.
So second quarter, Lee Davis with a punt, can't get it off. In the Hermitage.
Patrick Kane's hard work would pay off in his very first game as head coach, upsetting a ranked Lee Davis squad. But his motto, play the play, would be tested just 2 weeks later in a game against Godwin.
We were down by 16 with 2 minutes to go, and we tie it up, and they score in overtime, and we score in overtime, and then had a penalty on the extra point, which caused us to kick a longer field goal, and we missed it. So that was probably our first heartbreaker, the loss to Godwin.
Fought a hard battle. They play a lot of character, play with a lot of heart. Unfortunately, we came on the bad side of it. We'll test our manhood. Can you come back when it's tough? It's easy to be top dog when you're 2-0. Now we're 2-1. We'll find out what kind of real character we have.
His commitment to making everything the best that it can be, and he didn't accept substandards. He expected everybody to do their best and put forth their best effort all the time.
That's exactly what Coach Kane got from his team in 2001. They were 2-8 1 year ago. They only lost one more game in the 2001 season, finishing 7-2.
Yeah, man, I give all the credit to the defense. You know what I'm saying? They kept the offense on the field, gave me that opportunity in the offensive line. Got to give it up to them. Couldn't get nowhere without them. Then my tailback, blocking so much, man. I really appreciate it.
2001 was just the beginning, as the Hermitage Panthers just kept winning and winning. And with all that winning came other accolades.
Next year, I will be attending the Ohio State University.
From players like Curtis Grant and Derek Green, in schools like Ohio State and Michigan, Kane helped any player who wanted to take it to the next level.
I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is that so many kids who came through our program had enough of a positive experience that they wanted to continue at the next level. Past 5 years, after these guys move on, we'll have 19 players playing Division I football. That's just Division I.
And as the Panthers kept winning, that number would rise and rise and rise.
One day at a time, night after night, and I prayed about it and just left it alone. I just had a great senior season with all my boys.
Have an opportunity to play college football on Saturday afternoon. It's probably the most rewarding thing that I can ask for as a coach. Education is about teaching, growing, and have an opportunity to continue the education on the next level.
175 wins, 17 years later, Coach Kane has helped countless student athletes at Hermitage. The winningest football coach in Hermitage history leaves with this advice.
Play the play. One play at a time, one day at a time. Work hard and
play.
Good things can happen.
What happens when you play the final play? There is no play to play.
Oh, hopefully that's a little more than a football thing. Hopefully that's a life thing that you take with you. Not feeling like it's what happens to you nice and how you react to it. I go with that mentality. Bad things happen. It's how you deal with it, and how you react to it. It's how we'll end in the final outcome.
Look where they are. They won the premier program in the state. He didn't do it because he's a good coach. He did it because he's a heck of a man with strong morals and values and character.
He's a great person, and I want to wish him the best of luck in whatever future endeavors he has.
When you have something that's at the bottom and you want it to be at the top, you got to work for it. Nobody's going to give you anything. And I think that's one example that I can learn from Coach Kane, and I think anybody can take that lesson and apply it to any aspect of their life, and they can see the fruit of their labor.
There's a million and one things that I can say about Coach Kane, right? There's a million and one things, all right? Because I learned so much from the man, all right? But I'm gonna let him speak for himself. Clap it off for Coach Kane.
Everybody tell me want to dress like this? Veterans Day. Give respect. People do a lot to do what we do. If you know any better, make sure you tell them thank you. I know I'm standing right back there.
No problem, guys.
Okay, play the play. A lot of people have asked me where that came from, what it came about. When I took the job here at Hermitage, for 8 years, they averaged 2-8. The most they ever won the season was 3, and they had a couple one-game wins. And from looking at that time, there was a lot of talent. I mean, the basketball team was very successful, the wrestling team was very successful. Then I looked at some of the film, and as soon as one bad thing went wrong, they caved in. They weren't the better team. Mentally, they didn't handle it to continue. The play came about when the mentality to overcome the obstacle, to focus on the next play. Because whatever happened that last play, I can't change. I can't do anything about it. But I can do something right now. I can make a difference right now on this play. And that's the mentality that got us to go to 70 from a team that went 2-8, 3-8, to knock off the number 5 team in the area, first game of the season. We go 7-2 that year. We lost the game because of 9/11. We go 7-2 that year. We also, the 3rd or 4th game of the year, we were down by 16 points to Godwin with 3 minutes to go in the game. We come back and we tie it up, which means we scored a touchdown, converted a 2-point conversion, onside, scored a touchdown, scored a 2-point conversion to put that game into overtime. We had to play the play mentality. Play the play also later on was very important to us when we were very successful. Because if you rest on your laurels, someone's going to knock your ass off. That might have happened maybe against this team you're getting ready to play a few weeks ago. Okay, so it also means just because I did great before, that has no bearing on how I'm going to perform right now. Unless I get my mind straight and I do my job right now. So it's from both extremes. It's from when bad things happen, and when great things happen, everybody's patting you on the back, telling you how wonderful you are, and then all of a sudden you forget how to work. To continue to be wonderful. Okay, so it works on both ends. And I think that was why that was our theme consistently throughout our career, and it helped us, because it gave us a go-to thing. I'll remember Coach P's brother, younger brother, one game I was getting on his house in the sideline one game, probably a little bit too much. He looked at me, Coach, play to play. Right, Joe? I was carried on too long. We're going to move on to the next thing. But he got it, he understood it, and he needed to remind me. I need to understand it too every once in a while too. Okay? I didn't smile when he said it to me at the time. But he was right. So I think that was the heavy thing that carried us. And as it said in the documentary too, I think it's a life lesson, not just competing. You know, tough things happen, things you can't control, in a difficult situation. Are you going to dwell on it and sit and get mired down by it? Or are you going to find a moment right now, okay, that's done, I maybe can or can't do anything about it, but what can I do right now to make myself a little bit better and overcome? There's two ways to look at things. Are they obstacles or are they opportunities? If you look at an obstacle as an opportunity, it's a whole different mindset. If you look at it as an obstacle, is that terrible C-A-N-T word, I think it's the worst word in the dictionary, C-A-N-T. That's a terrible word. I might be having difficulty and have to find a way to overcome or ask for help to overcome, but C-A-N-T shouldn't be a factor in the equation. So if you go accept the mindset of when I see an obstacle, I see an opportunity. One way may be because the other people won't work through it and I will. Therefore, I can achieve more than this person just because he doesn't have the right mindset. Purely the mindset. He sees it as a roadblock and I'm going to quit. Where I see it as, that's my opportunity because I know he ain't mentally tough enough to get through that and I'm going to work myself through it. Or work our team through it. Whatever that tough situation is. Kind of like being down 16 points with 2-3 minutes to go in the game and you're coming off a 2-8 season previously, and this is the 3rd, 4th game of the year, and you still have the mindset, here's this play right now, we're going to make a difference. And then things are going to build from there. So if you can frame that mindset, it can make you successful in whatever you choose to do. With that, there are many talented people out there who aren't successful. And I consider success consistently successful, not a flash in the pan, over time. That's the true test. You'll see, I mean, look at sports, you see a team that's great one year, then they can't even go 500 the next year. They don't have the consistency, they don't have the persistence. They're not playing the play, they're not sticking to what got them there. They're resting in their laurels and think it's just going to be good for me the next time, just because I was before. So I think persistence is probably the #1 ingredient in success. Notice it has nothing to do with how good you are, how smart you are, how strong you are, how fast you are. It has nothing to do with that. Because if you have speed, intelligence, strength, and all the world, but as soon as you hit a roadblock, I don't know if I'm going to do it, I'm going to start pointing fingers. Every time you point a finger at somebody, 3 point right back at you. The reason that happens, you got to look at yourself and answer the problem, not that person. They don't control me. I control me. I control my mindset. Nobody else in the world controls my mind but me. You can't make me mad. You can't make me happy. That's an internal thing I have to find. That's a human struggle with an old man like me or a 16-year-old young man like you guys. Don't allow other people to control that. You control that. It's not an easy thing, by no means. If you understand that and work towards that, you won't get that negative reaction that'll cause more problems than the actual situation that happened. It's not the situation usually gets you in trouble. It's how you react to the situation that can get you in trouble. Usually the reaction has more consequences than the situation. And that's about letting somebody else control you and dictate how you're going to react as opposed to yourself. And that's what I believe this great game teaches us. Stick together with your teammates, work hard, have goals, and be willing to work for those goals. And the goals don't disappear just because I see some type of disappointment. Disappointment is an opportunity to overcome. You're going to have much more excitement, enthusiasm, and gratitude for beating Glenn Allen's ass tomorrow night because you had the disappointment previously. So have the mindset to keep the emotions straight, and the only thing you worry about is at the final buzzer when you can look up at the scoreboard. Because you're moving on, and their ass is going home. Don't let the moment, the emotions of the moment, screw up the opportunity at the end, the outcome at the end. And that's mental strength. That's much more powerful than any kind of strength you got right here. The ability to get back in the huddle. When your brother's losing a little bit, grab him by the car and say, come on, man, we got this. We all have our times when we need somebody to help us out. So don't let the emotions affect the game. You affect the game by your performance and your attitude and how you finish. The only thing they'll ever do in 20 years is look at the score. They can say so-and-so said smack to me and did this or scored on me on one play during the game. They can say that. They're going to say, Hermitage beat their ass and moved on in the playoffs. That's all that's going to be said. That's all anybody's going to be able to see, and that's all that freaking matters. Don't let the moment mess up the goal or the dream.
It's good, Coach. It's good, man. It's real good, man.
What y'all got for me?
Why did
you take the job at Hermitage, even though they were 2-8?
Because for the reason I said before, I saw that they were very successful in basketball. I saw that they were very successful in wrestling. I always thought those were the two sports that kind of were polar opposites. The tough guys in the wrestling program, the pretty boy athletes in the basketball program. And if I can get them both on my football program, we got something. So I thought of those two programs, and also they were very successful in track. If they can be successful in those sports, why isn't football successful? I saw Coach B run around, but I said, I got to coach that too. I don't know if they per se rallied behind me. We had a great staff. And we had some great leadership with Tim's senior class. His senior year was my Coach B's senior year was my first year here. I think it was very helpful that we got that first win. I'm not going to BS it. Beating the number 5 team in the area in the first game, it kind of built some confidence. But they also were willing to put in the time. How many people in here say football is extremely important to you? All right? Don't put your hand down. Don't raise your hand on this, I don't want to embarrass you. Now think, how many Saturday film sessions have you missed? Your actions speak louder than your words. Everybody can say it's important. But what do your actions say? What are you doing? We had Saturday film sessions. And we were here about 3 hours. We watched film, did our awards, probably similar to what you're doing now. And we worked out. But back then, if you missed one, you're missing a game. Because they consider it a practice. You miss 2 unexcused, you're off team. That's simple. You miss one, now. We don't want you to miss. As soon as you miss, we're going to call you, we're going to try and get there, try and solve problems, how to get you there if it's a problem. Just because you don't want to be there, or you're too tired to get your ass out of bed, it's not important to you. So if football is important to you, find a way to be where you need to be to make yourself better. Excuses are from people that aren't successful. I don't think we did everything differently. Obviously, we looked at films, and I don't think we got it correct. We weren't perfect by no means. Our effort and our attitude was very good, but there are things we had to get better at individually. So it was a bit of a wake-up call because we didn't start off very fast. So maybe we had to focus on how we start the game better, so we're not putting ourselves in a situation we got to come back by 16 points in the end. But it was a good lesson to learn, and I didn't mention this, but one of the reasons we lost was an excessive celebration in one of the overtime points, so our extra point became rather a chip shot, a 35-yard extra point, which we missed, and that's why we lost. We had a little excessive celebration flag. Cost us a little bit too, so we learned from that too. That one might have been the 4th game. Sorry? Not that year, no.
72 didn't have a playoff game.
We were 9-1 one year, didn't go to playoffs. Sorry. Favorite part? People. The people, the players, and the coaches. We had a very good bond. Over time, a lot of our coaches were Herm graduates, so it was very personal to them. Even had one of our coaches Coach Moore wasn't a Herm graduate, but he married a Herm graduate, so we said, you can come on. People. Yes, sir.
How did you mesh with the team? How did y'all form bonds?
I think it takes time. I don't think that's something you come magically happen. I think we as a staff had to consistently prove ourselves to the athletes that we're going to be there for you. And two, the athletes had to prove themselves that it was important to them, being where they needed to be on time, and the effort that they get. And then when they started seeing that those efforts and following our policies turned into success, and sometimes accolades, sometimes scholarships, people bought in and continued with it. But the biggest thing is consistency on both ends, both from the players' expectations and efforts, and from the coaches' expectations and efforts.
I think it was funny, like, we all played Manchester playoffs, and I got that interception on the goal line. How did you, like, tell the team to come back in that first year?
Well, that's a very interesting situation. There's a backstory to that one. In the system, when I was coaching, our quarterbacks could check off. We gave stipulations that when he could check off, he passes and runs. In that situation, he was told, we are not going to check off in the red zone. He did. Big 6 out. That was a big, that was a regular season game. But that was a regular season game too. Well, so that was a good life lesson for that young man. Maybe the coaches do know a little bit what they're talking about. So if you are given a free minute position, you do something. But with stipulations, you understand the stipulations are important. I'm sorry, it's about college.
How do you prepare for not only yours but your team's first playoff game?
How do we prepare?
Prepare for the first playoff game.
Well, unfortunately, our first playoff game wasn't successful because we were 10-0 and we lost. But you do it the same way. Hopefully, you're preparing during the season for playoff games too, because the way you practice and the way you prepare makes habits, and those habits are going to be consistent. You don't all of a sudden change it up when you hit playoffs. Hopefully, you're playing some good competition or playoff caliber teams during the regular season too. So you want to be a continuation of the season. We used to always say our season is 15 weeks long. And the goal is to get to week 15. So every week is just as important. Even if you're playing an inferior opponent, because it's your opportunity to get better. It's not so much about the opponent, but I want to practice the same way for a team that's 0-10 is a team that's 12-0, because it's about me making myself better, making my team better, and having the right mentality and the right habits. The habits are who you are. So whether it be in practice or whether it be in life. I didn't, they did it. I was just an avenue for them. It was their work ethic, their preparation in classroom, because if you don't get the grades, it doesn't matter how good you are. They understood the academics. We need to help them, make sure they're in the right classes, and encourage them to do the right thing. The bottom line, they had to do it. So they put themselves in the academic position to be able to do that, and they performed on the film. And all we were was just an avenue to let the colleges know. Nowadays, it's a lot easier than back then. Back then, you probably didn't even know it. DVR, discs where we had to make copies of and send out there, but now you just do it on your freaking phone and send that to them. So it's a lot easier to have to be aware of it. What the difference is, and what athletes need to understand is, a good college program is always going to be talking to the head coach. What's this dude like? And the head coach cannot lie about you to them, because then they won't come back the next year and believe them about the next guy. So you got to give your coach a reason to say the great thing. Yes, he's on time. Yes, he comes to every Saturday film session because football is important to him. Because the job right here, and he doesn't like the job they're trying to put you through, where you're going to be expected to put 3 hours of film study in, go to class, go to the tutoring, go to practice, go lift. It's a freaking job at the next level. And if this is too much for you, you're not going to make it when you get up there. So you got to give your coach an ability to say, yes, he's dependable. The most important ability is dependability. It doesn't matter how good you are, how fast you are. If they can't depend on you, if you're not wanting to show up and work hard with a great attitude every day,
go to the next guy. There's a lot of people in the world to go recruit. Okay, so the biggest thing is give your coaches an opportunity to say those great things about you, because they can't lie for you, because then they'll screw the next guy and the next guy. I think it's one thing the college coaches do when they would come through here. I'll be straightforward with them. I'll be straightforward with my players. When they come ask me a question, why you're not doing this, why you're not, expect them honest, cutthroat answer. Or don't ask the question. You gotta get there with this, you gotta be more dependable with this, or so-and-so is just better than you right now. We gotta work with you. Are you going to just move to another position to get a little playing time before we can maybe move you in there? Most of the time, to go to the next level, I would say 50% of the time, and I'm not throwing stats up there that know, just my own opinion. You move to a different position, sometimes you're in. What you're playing at the high school level, most times doesn't end up what you're playing at the college level. We had Dwayne Brown here. Anybody know who Dwayne Brown is? You better know who Dwayne Brown is.
He's big. He's just one, strong guy as a left tackle.
Ain't nobody gonna be more physical than us. Brown uses a hands-on approach to keep defenders' hands off his teammates.
He has some vice grips, some hands. If he locks hold of you, you're pretty much done for that play.
Let's go, big dog.
Going against Dwayne Brown, he's a big guy, but he's more athletic than he looks.
The Texans' big left tackle, Dwayne Brown, hooked the defensive end of the Titans, and there was no support to that side.
He played tight end and defensive end for us. With Virginia Tech, played tight end first year and a half. Then he switched to left tackle. Now he's an all-pro, mega millions with Seattle Seahawks, playing left tackle. If you would have asked him in high school, you're going to be a left tackle at the next level? Hell no. But he didn't understand the left tackle is the second highest paid position in the NFL. Quarterback 1, left tackle 2 because he practices, he defends number 3 because he gets the quarterback.
So, 2000, the first season coaching Hermitage, the Godwin game, we had a whole big argument in there with my brother about I'm gonna let Coach Kane answer.
You guys probably remember better than I do, but go ahead.
So that game, I dropped 3 punts.
Oh my God.
I did.
Back going
But they only recovered one of them. At the end of the game, Fontel and Joe do that celebration. Which one contributed more to the loss?
I'm surprised if you dropped 3 that you were back to catching on the third. I fought me on that one.
I mean, I had to look. I mean, it is what it is, but I understand that now. Always being older, more mature. I understand.
I remember those games when the guy dropped one, we didn't have anybody back there filling the front.
You dropped one, you were back in that game.
Let it roll. I'll take the ball. We'll roll the ball. What else we got? From my standpoint, to be disciplined and truthful to my convictions. If I said something was going to happen, I had to make sure I did what I said was going to happen. But I also had to make sure if he's going to get the consequence, I'm going to follow through and they get the consequence. So over time, people believe what I said. I meant what I said. I was going to live up to it and I was going to do it. Whether it be I'm going to help you in this way, or if you miss practice, you miss the next game. I'll give you another example of discipline. We had a highly recruited athlete who could have gone anywhere in the country. We had, before the game, we had our meetings where we had our pregame meal, and then we had our meetings, then we go out for warm-ups and all that kind of stuff. Well, we went to go to our meeting, he wasn't there. Junior Tech was here to watch him play. Junior year. Playing that game. He sat on the sideline and decided the Junior Tech coach was there to recruit. He didn't come to our meeting. He let some little girl distract him. He'd rather go run up with the girl than be where he's supposed to be. I think they understood that if I say you're not where you're supposed to be,
flip side, Chris Grant, you all saw on film. He could have gone to any college game he wanted to, any Saturday of the year. He never once asked to miss a Saturday film session to go to a college game. Never even asked. Coach Kane wrote nothing. Why? Because his conviction was to helping his team win the state championship. That's what he wanted to make happen. So he didn't let the distractions of all the noise and how wonderful you are and how great you are and how you can come to Ohio State and watch a game. We'll fly you out there. Didn't pay. He was committed to his team. I don't want to say this, we beat their ass more than they beat us. Sorry? Because I don't remember number one. They can't start. Me, my mentality is you're saying number one, then you're saying you're number one. And so my mentality was I wanted a team first mentality, so no one was wearing number one for the team. I actually love the number 0. That's a pretty cool number now. I'm nothing, I'm just part of the team. I'm going to kick your ass. Nothing wrong with number 1. Everybody likes it. We got, I don't know if they told you I'm helping out with King Williams. Coach Moore was my offensive line coach here for 16 years. And that's his alma mater. He got the job there and he asked me to help him out and get it going. So I've been helping out a little bit there. And our best player is going to Wake Forest. No, that's our bad thing. It's your game. I'm a little straight. Well, I got one thing to say. Kick down
Alright, so before it goes, man, great day to be a Panther! Woo! Alright, but check this out. I learned so much from Coach Kane. So much. Alright. I'm fortunate enough. I never thought what's happening right now would even be a thing. Like, I'm the coach, he's coming to talk to you guys, how fortunate everybody in this room is for this moment, all right? But I will say this, all right? I don't know if y'all know about building a house, but if you are rebuilding a house and the foundation is jacked up, what you probably got to do? Say what you got to do. You got to tear the house down. You got to tear the entire house down. I am extremely fortunate to get a house that the foundation was strong, that all we really had to do was move a couple pieces in the house. And that house, that foundation of that house, Coach Kane set. All right? There's so many different life lessons I can tell you that I learned from him, from how my first job to my approach to getting the first job. All right? To how your attitude can be used to go get the things you want in life. All right? It's not wrong with having an attitude, but Coach Kane taught me it's how you use your attitude. All right? My first job, he told me I got to be so annoying to the people in the front office. They say, get this man a job so he can stop calling. 15 years later, I've been an educator. And that's not nothing that I thought I would have been. He suggested me to go into the field of teaching. I did it, and I fell in love with it. All right? So it's a lot of things that happened in my life because of Coach Kane. And I'm very grateful for that. All right? I'm very grateful for that. And everything that happens with you guys, foundationally comes from the foundation that he set. What we do on Saturday comes from what Coach Kane did. There's no need to do something new if I already know what works. All right? So a lot of the stuff that we already do, Coach Kane implemented. Coach Kane implemented. All right? So once again, I'm extremely fortunate and blessed. I can say 1,000,001 things about Coach Kane. All right? I can say 1,000,001 positive things about Coach Kane. But we do have something for you, Coach Kane. All right? This is just a small token of appreciation for, just, all that you've done, all the lives you've changed, including mine, all the lessons that you imparted on me and all the other guys who are going to be affected by the lessons you imparted on us. I guess, like I said, I can say 1,000,001 things. But I'm just grateful. All right? So it says, thank you, Coach Kane. 175 wins, right? Winning is winningest football coach in Hermitage history. All right, from the Hermitage 2021 football family. All right, play to play. We already know we use that same saying still today. The enemy of greatness is good enough. That's when he started using later on to the latter half of his career at Hermitage. And you know, the Hermitage community is forever grateful for the foundation you have established. Thank you, Coach. Once again, that is a small token. And as y'all get older, y'all will start realizing how effective the effect that other people have in your lives. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about the effect that Coach Kane had on my life. All right? Because a lot of times, sometimes people don't have that father figure in their life. All right? That person that's going to be hard on you, right? And Coach Kane was that. Even as a coach, all right? I'll tell y'all the story. I don't know if I told y'all the story. My first year coming back here as a coach, when I left that other school in the East End, that Black and Gold school, because I wanted to be here. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be here, all right? I was late to a 7:07 as a coach. I'm a coach, right? Grown man, pay bills, right? Do my own, right? So I was late to a 7:07. All right, now mind you, I still drove there. I still got there, but I wasn't there at the time that everybody else was there to be in the bus. I think Coach Kane had us leave about 4 in the morning. About 5 for real, but it was real early. You had to be on time. So we went to the 7:07. I'm like, oh, that made it cool. As a coach, you know, I'm all right. We get back to the school. And me and Coach Kane in the office, one-on-one. And he looks at me and says, if you're late again, you're done. And it was that, even though I didn't like it, I mean, you don't like hearing that, like, dang, I'm done. But it was that exact reason that I wanted to be here, all right? Because when you get pressure on you, when you get high expectations on you, most of the time you rise to the occasion, all right? It's when you don't get no expectations and when you have nobody expecting you to push it to the next level, that you start failing and falling behind, all right? And that's the main reason I wanted to be here. So I'm forever grateful again, Coach Kane. I appreciate you for everything that you've done, everything that you're doing, everything that you're going to do. And, you know, I can go on and on about it, but I'm not going to do that because we all got, you know, like this, we got to listen to me. So, with that being said, great day to be a Panther! Woo! Once again, y'all guys are great. Y'all guys should be forever grateful for the experience we've had. You already know what's going on. Moving on from here. If you get an opportunity, shout holler at Coach Kane before you dip out. And just tell him, you know, hey, you're thankful, but here we're going to get a break real quick.
Let's go.